It's 9 o'clock. Colpage Ford, Footscray and Sunshine present Newsbeat. Last night in Melbourne with Stephen Fleay.
It was a tragic night in our city. A fire leaves a family homeless. Vandals destroy a man's business in the city by setting it alight. And in St Kilda, death strikes instantly when 3 teenagers are run down by a car. We'll go there in a moment.
You get it all with Colpage Ford.
Colpage has a car for you like you've never seen before.
People are moving out Footscray Way, where you hear them say, we got it all with Colpage Ford. Buy it new
Or buy it used.
Colpage has a car for you like you've never seen before.
People are moving out Footscray Way, where you hear them say,
We got it all with Colpage Ford. We got it all with Colpage Ford.
It was late afternoon in St Kilda, the end of the day for the many thousands of youngsters who descend on that suburb every weekend. But for 2 boys, a sudden end to life. Newsman Neil Watson happened to be near the scene when it happened and radioed in this report.
Upper Esplanade in St Kilda, just as you round the bend near the clock tower, a couple of bodies on the road. It appears, I've taken one look, it appears one young chap aged about 12, lying face down the road, looks like a concave fracture of the head, and I could find no trace of a pulse. The other chap, we've had someone come out of the crowd, a doctor I believe, and he is going to check him out. I could find a faint pulse there. We just have the police pulling up now, a rather irate passer-by, and I can understand this. The ambulance arrived approximately 10 minutes ago. We have a red Falcon sitting right in the middle of the road, and many trams have been delayed and have decided to be turned around because they can't possibly make their way. The scene of the accident is being preserved, and we have the bodies of what appears to be a 12-year-old approximately and a 14-year-old boy lying on the road, and they've been draped with the blankets by the ambulance men. The police just left the vehicle and are heading over into a large crowd which is assembled in front of the bottle shop of the Esplanade Hotel. As I talk to you, the tow trucks have started to appear on the scene. One car right in the centre of the road, and we have 2 young boys dead.
I was getting half a dozen bottles at the hotel, and I was just giving the barman...
In the wind,
sorry.
a little bit strong. We're
the
right off the beach.
I was just giving the barman my order, and this bloke came down. There was 3 young boys, and 2 of them were in the middle of the road, and the car was coming that fast. They didn't know whether to go backwards or forwards or what.
Where was he in position to the tram tracks in the centre of the road?
He was basically in the centre of the road, and of course then he panicked, and I'd say he's doing at least 80 miles an hour, and he hit the young boys right in the middle. They did about 8 or 10 cartwheels. They went as high as the tram lines, and as you can see, skid marks about 140 yards long, I'd reckon, and a tremendous amount of damage to his car.
Here's the police report. Late on Saturday afternoon, a motor car being driven north on the Upper Esplanade St Kilda collided with 3 pedestrians crossing the Esplanade from east to west. 2 of the pedestrians were killed in the accident. They were Jeffrey Mark Carter, aged 16, Glenn Shane Orty, also aged 16. Both youths were from Reservoir. 16-year-old Terry Ramage of Reservoir has been taken to the Alfred Hospital and is under observation. Relatives of all parties have been notified. On the Calder Highway near Wood End, a woman died when the car in which she was a passenger ran off the road and hit a tree. She was Brita Moran. Her body was taken to the Kyneton Hospital, where death was certified by a doctor. The driver of the vehicle, Eileen Davies of Wood End, and another passenger were taken to the Kyneton Hospital for treatment. Mystery surrounds an incident in Flemington, but we eventually find out what it was all about.
Wellington Road near Racecourse Road, and an ambulance has just left the scene. There's a lot of blood here, a lot of blood on the road. And a carton, a beer carton, partially empty, a couple of bottles on the pavement here. Oh, about 6 empty bottles there. But no sign of any any activity at all. A few people I've just spoken to don't seem to know what's happened. They just said that they saw the blood. Apart from that, there's nothing happening. Did anybody see what happened?
No, mate, no. We
came out, we
heard the
heard,
noise.
a
We
lot
come
of
out and
swearing going on.
You heard some swearing?
Oh, he was swearing, shocking, wasn't he, Jack?
Yes.
That's all it was. They say he put his hand through a window.
There's a lot of blood there on the pavement.
Because when we came out, he was there, like, over there, playing up, wasn't he? Shocking language.
It must have been just around the corner
Must
there,
have been just around the corner where the window.
They come from down around that corner there.
You said they?
Yeah, quite a few of them, about 4 or 5 of them all together, and he was in the middle of them. And there's a shop, a cafe around the corner. They may have been there, I think. But they're making a decent old din. We were inside and we could hear them.
Oh, you could hear he was like a raving bull. He was the shocking language, wicked. Wicked language. They should have hit him out anyhow. Hit him on the chin.
He's lost a lot of blood,
Yes.
so he's probably not feeling the best.
No.
Well, look, we'll go around the corner and have a bit of a look.
Yes, have a look, yes. 3 years old, aren't you?
There's a shop about 2
That's
doors
right.
around the corner there.
Thank you very much.
That's right.
You saw him do it, did you? How long ago did it happen?
10 minutes.
Made quite a mess of himself.
Make a mess of my
Yeah.
book as well.
Yeah. What was the reason behind it?
No, listen, he was drunk.
Were there a group of people?
Yeah. He was just drunk, literally.
Just looking at the window, a person has punched this right on the red phone transfer, and leading from the window, now we can see a trail of blood right up around the corner to where he must have perhaps passed out, and then an ambulance was called.
Neighbours come to the rescue when fire severely damages a woman's house in West Brunswick.
We're just approaching Shamrock Street in Brunswick, and looking out the window of the car, I can see 2 fire engines. The lights are flashing. There's a lot of water on the road too, and it appears as though the fire has been brought under control, but there are a lot of firemen on the scene. We'll just get out and have a quick look at this one. I understand you're the lady who was in the house. Have you had a look at the damage inside your house?
There's nothing inside, I don't think. It's all on the roof, they said.
There'll be a bit of water damage, perhaps a bit of cleaning up to do.
No, it's not too bad.
How many in the family?
Just the 2 children and my husband, but he's coming back now.
You've sent the children away.
They're just down the ladies, yeah.
Is your husband coming yet?
No, he won't be here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. He was up at Bendigo with my mother. Oh, well.
No doubt you rang the fire brigade straight away. What did you do when the fire first broke out?
Rang 000.
And did you take some action yourself to try to...
Yes, the hose.
It broke out in the kitchen?
Yeah, in the roof, kitchen roof.
How do you think it happened?
I think I put too many briquettes on the fire. I think.
It's a cold night.
Yeah, sure was.
Well, I noticed the SEC have been here and they're reconnecting the power. Have you got any other form of heating to keep you warm tonight?
They're not reconnecting it, they're disconnecting it. They're not allowed to reconnect it.
What will you do, stay at some friend's house?
Yes, more than likely.
What about the insurance?
No, none.
You'll just have to work a bit harder, perhaps.
Yeah, I've done that much now.
Do you own the house?
Yes.
Did you help out?
No, it was too late. I came out and I just saw smoke coming and I just came straight over as soon as I saw it, but I was not aware of anything going on. I had visitors.
I take it you came and added a bit of moral support.
Tried to. She was a good help. No, I was too late. Usually I come out every so often, just sort of as a sticky beak, I suppose.
Then in the city, a stupid act by vandals needlessly activates emergency services. Bullen's Lane, just near Russell Street. At least 6 fire engines here. I can't believe it. The firemen aren't going to like this at all because they've turned out to a fruit barrow which is on fire.
I just had a food up there. I just finished from the restaurant. It's an ordinary fruit barrow up here next to the new people are opening up very shortly.
The firemen are just putting this thing out now. No visible flames in sight. They're just damping it down, making sure that it's completely out. Looks like it's been deliberately set alight.
Well, if it hasn't put outside its bloody self, has it?
No. Have you seen the bloke with the barrow around here?
Oh, often. He's usually got a canary hanging on.
Has he?
Yeah. Usually has a canary with him.
Well, looks as though somebody doesn't like him.
Just ordinary everyday vandals, I think, Steve.
Somebody with nothing better to do.
Typical.
So in Bullens Lane, just near Russell Street, perhaps a man who sells fruit for a living may be out of business for a few days just due to a deliberate act of vandalism. An act of vandalism that not only perhaps has destroyed his business for several days, but has also wasted the time of firemen who perhaps could have been going to something more important than a small fruit barrow fire.
The night drags on, but not for long, because it's on in Albert Park.
Kerford Road and Richardson Street, Albert Park, and two cars are involved. One has smashed into a pole, and the other one's very, very close to a tree. What did you see when you arrived?
What did I see?
Yeah.
I saw two smashed cars, of course. I just attended the scene to see if anyone was injured, and the ambulance arrived.
How many injured?
I think there's a few cuts and abrasions more than anything, a little bit of shock, nothing else. Everything's been taken care of. The ambulance arrived and has taken them off.
Both vehicles involved in this accident are badly damaged. One is a Nissan Cedric, one of the older model Japanese cars, and it's neatly wrapped around an electric light pole. The other one is an early model Falcon. Now that's quite a mess also. Smashed in badly in the front. Looks as though that will not repair either. Now the Nissan Cedric has also taken a whack on the side. It appears that it swerved to avoid the other car, perhaps was hit by the car, ran into the pole, and the people were thrown in towards the windscreen inside. Glove box is lying open and the light is on. A lot of broken glass inside the vehicle. South Suburban Towing, what's your resume of this Cedric?
He's a lucky boy, isn't he? Very lucky.
Nobody was seriously injured?
No, not barely. Just slight damages to the face or damage, that's all, and worry, that's all.
There's no way in the world that car could be fixed up?
No, neither of them are gone.
The Falcon's pretty bad too?
Yeah, she's gone. She's history.
Once the front of any car goes, you'd say it's...
Oh, not really. It all depends on a new one, but these are old cars and they're both very lucky people. But we can understand he's come up the wrong side of the road and done a left-hand turn in front of her. That's what we know. I don't know. We didn't see it, but that's what one of the witnesses said.
Were you going out tonight?
No, I was on my way down to see a friend.
It's a bit upsetting, I suppose, something like this to happen this late at night, but this other driver apparently was in the wrong.
He was. Very much in the wrong.
Which way were you heading?
Straight down that way.
Straight down towards the port? And the other driver was coming where, on your left?
Came round the wrong side of the road.
Going rather fast?
I don't know, it could have been.
You swerved to avoid the car, it hit your car, and then it ran into the pole here, and that's where you ended up just near it.
I tried to stop.
I just live up the shop, up the top when it had the crash, wake up straight away.
Are there many accidents at this intersection?
Oh, I can say every week once, because I'm one of the shop, I can see it. That was really bad about 2-3 weeks ago. Really bad accident.
No matter how bad things are, there can always be some bright spots. In just a moment, we'll hear one of our famous Australians sending up another well-known Australian.
You get it all with Call Page Ford.
Call Page has a call for you like you've never seen before.
People are moving out Footscray Way, where you hear them say, we got it all with Call Page Ford. Buy it new
or buy it used.
Call Page has a car for you like you've never seen before.
People are moving out Footscray Way, where you hear them say,
we got it all with Call Page Ford. We got it all with Call Page Ford.
Comedy theatre in town, Tonight's rather a special night. It's the final night of Barry Humphries' one-man show called At Least You Can Say You've Seen It. There's a full house here tonight, absolutely packed out. I'm led to believe that at this stage of the show, which is nearly over for the night, that the next person to appear on stage looks very like the wife of a certain Australian Prime Minister. She's coming onto the stage now. She's standing about 7 feet tall, and she looks very like a person who's comparing a television show in town.
I dodge around the lodge, and I don't have to change the makeup. It's all there in my new book. My week from Saturday today till Friday. It isn't long. It's printed in Hong Kong, and it's called when I was just a judge's daughter. In every race, I win first place. My light face down in the water. Now the tide's run out, and the economy is up the sewer. But I tell Tom, it's just a trough filled up with I just been to Japan, where I smashed down thing on a liner. We've done our thing, we've had our fleet, we've met the Queen, we've been to China. What can I say about Cathay? I still like things the dinky die way, but Dr. Kent will teach our bands about you and
Did you enjoy the show?
Very, very much. Very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Very good. Very clever.
Yes, very good.
What was the best bit of it?
Oh, I felt the most hilarious were the balls being thrown over the audience.
The Jaffers?
Oh, yes.
I'm very much a fan of his, you know.
You're holding that gladdy rather tenderly.
Yes, I didn't like to wave it and ruin it. I'm going to take it home and put it in the bowels.
Patrick O'Neill, tour manager. It seems that you've had nothing but packed houses for this show.
Absolutely. Overwhelming success. Best he's ever had in any season.
Where to next?
To Brisbane, and then to Hobart. In Brisbane we have a lot of Mrs. Florence Bjelke-Peterson in the show. Although we're still going to keep Mrs. Whitlam in, as you can appreciate too.
Comedy turns to drama when a car slams into a pole in Westgarth. Clark Street in Westgarth, and a car has hit a pole here. It's smashed right up against it. It's completely caved in the front. It seems that an insulator has come down and has dislodged part of the structure of the pole. Tow truck is arriving. Any of you in the car?
No.
Just the one occupant?
Yes, one.
Yes, we'll just move out from under here. If I could just have a few moments of your time. How bad was he?
I don't think he was very bad at all. They said he looked pretty good.
You were inside the house and you heard a bit of a loud noise, I'd say.
Oh, our power's off.
The lights went off. The car was about 4 foot away, so that's probably why he swerved. He saw it at the last moment.
What's happened to the pole? Pretty...
Oh, no, she's not too bad.
An insulator come apart, is it?
Yeah, it just broke a bit of the cross arm off at the end of it there.
Would it take much to get the power back going?
No, not a great deal. But at the moment, the overtime being on, well, we just get it going
And hope it works.
Oh, it should work.
Northcote City Council repair gang are here, and they're working on the pole. They're up the top of an elevator, and one man here is shining a torch up so his offsider can see what's going on. It appears that an insulator has dislodged there, and it's just a matter of connecting up a couple of wires and power supply should be back to normal.
I live on the corner of the street.
Hmm?
I was just sitting in watching telly, and next thing I heard the crash, and I run out here, and my friends here, next door neighbours, they were out here, and they seen the car here up against the wall. So I immediately rang the ambulance and got the ambulance to come out. I rang the electric light company and got them to come down here and fix the wires up.
That car must have hit the pole with quite an impact, because it's caved in the front right up to the driving cabin.
Well, this is true, because as I say, I'm in the corner house there, and I'm sitting listening to the TV, and I heard it crash then.
All night towing? A ride off that car?
History, as they say.
Looks like one of the Japanese models. It's very hard to recognise it in the dark here.
Toyota Corolla.
No good for spare parts?
Not at all. The only thing it's good for is a tip, and that's about it at the moment.
This street, is it usually very quiet, or do they use...
No.
It's not?
Oh, no.
Another speedway?
Oh, you're telling me. She's a beauty. You want to be here at peak hour and you'll see some fun. Not only that, every night you'll hear cars screaming around that corner down there like nobody's business.
No solutions? But to block it off?
Not to block it off, nothing.
And in Camberwell, tempers flare when we try to find out the cause of a multiple pileup.
Burke Road and Prospect Hill Road, and there has been an accident involving at least one vehicle. There's a Valiant here, a brown Valiant. Crowd of people standing around, mainly young chaps, tow truck operators. Well, what's happened?
Oh, nobody seems to know. It's hit and run at the moment. Well, the chap out of this car's disappeared.
This is a Valiant. How many cars involved?
I think there's 3 involved.
Did you see it happen?
No comment.
Were you in one of the vehicles?
No comment. You're not going to get nothing, so you might as well go.
You want me to go?
You might as well, because you're not going to get nothing.
Oh, but who was involved in the accident?
No comment.
The bloke was hit, just gone up the road up here. No, he's got out the Valiant and ran.
Well, how many were in the Valiant?
One, I think. Don't know.
This towing. How badly is this Valiant damaged?
Not bad.
Bit of damage to the front. Rough estimate?
Oh, yeah, about 3.5.
Everything seems rather confusing. These young chaps we were just talking to, do you think they were involved in it?
Yes, they're involved in the other car, I think. It's either a drunk driver or his stolen car.
I've been drinking, have you? Which vehicle were you in? Listen, you're slightly injured there. Are you okay? We've got a first aid bloke here. Gil?
Where?
Gil? This chap's received a bit of a knock in his head there.
She's all right, mate. Just a couple of mate.
He's a qualified first aid bloke.
I don't give a
Is there anybody else who's been hurt?
No, mate. No, I've already given in. Just me and the driver. The driver of this car has taken off.
Yeah, where's your car?
I won't say.
It was in this now.
Well, it disappeared. So it was in it, yeah. This bloke over here is injured, and he's refused first aid treatment. He's got a bit of a cut to his nose up the top here. Gil, our first aid man, the gentleman you were just talking to who refused first aid treatment, do you think he's slightly in shock?
No, not shock, I don't think. Might be something else, but I don't think it's altogether shock.
He's got a bit of a knock there to the nose, a bit of blood coming out.
He's scanned his nose. It's on the top of his nose, just between the two eyes. It's very slight. Could hit it on anything.
We weren't quite sure what had happened, really.
Did you only see this one Valiant sitting here, or did you see any other car?
When we came, we saw only that car, nobody was in it. And then they find out and they said that's a hot car, that maybe they pitched it. You know, when the accident happened, then they ran off.
What's the corner like for accidents? I believe it's reasonably quiet around here.
No, that's not so. There were quite a few.
It's bad luck for all these people that like to see a bit of blood for a change, isn't it? No blood for a change. These people you're speaking to over here before.
What would they know?
Well, they're not here to see
They weren't even here.
They're just local.
But they might be here to help you. What happens if you say there's no blood about? Now, what happens if somebody had been hurt and there had been a bit of blood about?
That's
Some of you blokes would have been looking for a bit of help.
This accident happened a quarter of an hour ago.
They're only here to see blood and see if anyone's injured and put their big noses where they're not wanted. Their gigs, that's all right. As far as I'm concerned, they're gigs.
Wogs.
No, it's not where they're not wanted. Like they might have been some help you had you been injured.
They come a quarter of an hour after the accident happened.
It's different, Les.
Typical
Different, Les.
wogs.
When we're all okay after an accident, we're right. But in a lot of cases, a lot of people do get injured, and a bystander sometimes helps them.
Fair enough.
As far as I'm concerned, they're gigs. Why hang around? Look, has it got anything to do with them? Do they know anyone in the crash? See a bit of blood, see a copper, grab someone, take me in the station? They're all gigs.
Wogs. This other bloke come here and he started picking us.
He started picking you?
Yeah, he says, well, you caused this argument. Right, so we were going to have him, but we thought, no, we better not. And he said, right, pull over the side. We should pull over the side, and we haven't even seen him since then. He's been off. He's off. No worries.
Just looking at the other car which was involved in the accident, it's an FC Holden, and it's smashed in the front left-hand side. Doesn't appear to be drivable. What's the estimate on the FC?
Not worth repairing. To repair it exceed the cost of the car.
Ron Foster, on-scene coordinator, you've been investigating things here. What have you found out? It seems very confusing, this accident.
It's pretty confusing, all right, Stephen, and apparently down on the corner of Prospect Hill Road and Burke Road there's a set of traffic lights. And this FC that we're looking at now was travelling north up Burke Road. So that's been on the left-hand side of the road. The Valiant that's back down at Burke Road there is well on the right-hand side of the road. How they've ever come into collision, I'll never know. And how this other Holden's got up here and turned around in this side street, it's just beyond me. I just can't comprehend what's happened at all. There's also that there's a third car involved, but nobody seems to know where that is. It's just disappeared off the scene. The driver of the Valiant's gone. There's no keys in the ignition and so forth, so we don't know or haven't ascertained whether it's a stolen car or whether the driver's just absconded because he might have had a heavy night. But the whole three cars, nobody seems to want to sort of get involved as to what happened to who.
So it's still very puzzling how this accident occurred. The police are taking the driver of the Holden. Whether it's an FC or FE is hard to determine. They're taking the driver away and going to interview him further about the accident. Perhaps they may conduct a test or two, we don't know. And it's not known how many cars were involved, 2, possibly 3 cars in this accident. And that's the night in our city. This morning's headlines in a moment.
You get it all with Call Page Ford.
Call Page has a call for you like you've never seen before.
People are moving out Footscray Way, where you hear them say, we got it all with Call Page Ford. Buy it new
or buy it used.
Call Page has a car for you like you've never seen before.
People are moving out Footscray Way, where you hear them say,
we got it all with Call Page Ford. We got it all with Call Page Ford.
Now this morning's headlines. 2 armed men staged a daring hold-up overnight at the Caulfield Club Hotel in Dandenong Road. Police believe that the 2 entered the building through the roof, and while one man held the son of the licensee hostage, the other took the licensee, opened the safe and got about $7,000. Police have been given a good description of the bandits who were armed with pistols. Overseas now, and the Watergate Special Prosecutor Leon Jaworski has announced his resignation, which will take effect on Friday week. The announcement came one day after the jury was sworn in for the Watergate cover-up trial in Washington of 5 one-time aides for former President Richard Nixon. In a letter to the U.S. Attorney General, Mr. Jaworski said that now the trial was about to begin, the remaining investigations of the scandal could be directed by another special prosecutor. Fire broke out after an explosion in a building of the Royal Brisbane Hospital early this morning. One staff member says the blast occurred in a laboratory in the building which houses the clinical science block. By the time firemen reached the scene, smoke was pouring out of every floor and the situation looked serious. No estimate has been made of the damage. And that's the latest news to this moment. This is Stephen Fleay on behalf of the 3UZ Newsbeat team, wishing you a very good morning.
Be listening at 9 o'clock next Sunday when Carl Page Ford, Footscray and Sunshine present 3UZ Newsbeat.